China's trade workaround meets America's soybean pain. China's exports to the United States are down about 15% lately, but its global surplus is, get ready for this, bigger than ever, widening to nearly $786 billion. Beijing has offset U.S. tariffs by flooding markets in Europe, Africa, and Southeast Asia with electric vehicles, solar panels, and more. But China has retaliated in ways that sting. It temporarily halted exports of rare earth magnets critical for cars, drones, and missiles, and boycotted U.S. soybeans, devastating farmers. In North Dakota, the Gackle family projects a $400,000 loss this year. Farmer Justin Sherlock warned, quote, "Are we going to lose a generation of farmers because of the trade war? I think that's what's approaching." Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who is leading negotiations, owns millions in North Dakota farmland, raising concerns about conflict of interest. So, well, I don't think many people in Washington these days think about conflict of interest. But what's the real message here? Soybean farmers in America are being destroyed by the tariffs against China because China is saying, all right, you don't buy from us, we don't buy from you. So we're seeing farmers, perhaps generations of farmers, who are going to see their livelihoods destroyed. And it just goes to show conservatives were right. Conservatives, libertarian economic thinkers have been telling us for years, things like tariffs always have unintended consequence. They muck up things over here, even though you're looking up here. When big government decides it knows more than the free market system, all sorts of unintended consequences are occurring. And one of them right now is China is selling more to the world than ever because the United States has become a pariah state in the eyes of many former trading partners around the world. And China is picking up the pieces. Again, they are up 15% in their exports around the world. They're making money hand over fist. Meanwhile, American farmers who are used to selling soybeans to China are in a grim position. Let's dig a little bit deeper here. Let's look at some of the facts. So, as I mentioned, China exports up 15% this year to date, up 15%. Global surplus, $785 billion through August. That's up a lot more from where they were a year ago. They're using their rare earth leverage. China produces 80% of magnets and 100% of certain types of minerals, and they're keeping that more to themselves. China buys 60% of the global supply of soybeans. So when all of a sudden they say, America, we don't need you, it hurts. It really hurts Midwestern farmers. And this is according to the Wall Street Journal. This is not some, left-wing hackery. This is according to the Wall Street Journal and other reputable sources. Some individual farmers are losing as much as $400,000 a year. And according to Bill Wilson, an official in North Dakota, I've never seen as monumental a disruption in agriculture. This is the real problem with giving tons and tons of power that traditionally in a free market system, as we used to be, was in the hands of individual consumers, individual farmers, individual business owners. It was diffuse. It's not that any one farmer is so much smarter than the president of the United States. That's not the issue. No one's contending that. The issue is power used to be diffuse, spread across people in an entire industry, the consumers, the stakeholders, the creators, the owners. No one person could all of a sudden destroy a market. Now we're going in the other direction. If you followed all the history of Cuba's economy in the latter part of the 20th century, even today, not a pretty picture. Not a lot of rich people there. Not a thriving upper middle class. Not a lot of people with great careers, great income, vacationing around the world and saying, hey, come to Cuba and let us host you. You didn't see a lot of that because power was invested in one person, Fidel Castro. And now, unfortunately, whether your model is Fidel Castro, whether it is a dear leader of North Korea, whether it is Viktor Orban in Hungary, whether it is the great leader in Venezuela, or for that matter, Turkey, we are seeing more and more people around the world saying, this whole free market thing, this democracy thing, overrated. Let's give our dear leader unmitigated power to do whatever they want. And we are seeing the consequences. So the good farmers of North Dakota, maybe you need to ask who you're voting for and if they're actually supporting your own economic interest, because right now it's looking pretty grim for a lot of different players in our economy as this whole thing shifts out. It's looking great for China. So if your number one concern is helping China, you got to be very happy with these tariffs the United States has imposed, because China is up hundreds of billions of dollars this year alone. They're selling more to the rest of the world than what they are buying, and it's helping China. So if you love helping China more than Americans, then by all means, continue to support these tariffs because they're doing a great job, at least for some people.